Well, I'm not the main event either, but I am hoping to stand as parliamentary candidate for Halesdale in the Railway Regis in 2015. Hey! Still need a football chant. Paul's going to be the main event. He'll be on there very shortly. I'm going to whistle through mine as quickly as I can. How did I get involved in politics? Never meant to. Never meant to get involved in politics at all. I used to be a member of the Labour Party.
Right deserves a say that. Don't worry, I'll defend you.
It does. It does. Well, it was where I live. They were closing a local primary school. It was my primary school. All my children went to the same primary school. Small community, great school. Ofsted report fantastic, results fantastic, no problem. Closing the school because of numbers. We proved beyond any shadow of a doubt, birth rates were going up, Dudley Council was having none of it. Absolutely none of it. So you sort of get roped in and dragged along, and because I'm not known for sitting at the back and being a shrinking violet, I have got a voice, I'm not scared to use it. I ended up being at the front and shouting the loudest, and as soon as you start getting involved with the council and you start arguing, it becomes political. Whether you like it or not, it becomes political. And you learn a lot of things, what you can do, what you can't do, and how vicious politics can be, and it really can be vicious. So that's how I ended up getting involved in politics. Never even dreamed I'd even think about making any sort of voluntary career out of it, let alone a paid career, which is ultimately where I hope to get. Not doing it for the money. I'd quite gladly, if I could live for nothing, I'd quite gladly do it for nothing. It's not about the money at all. That's not what I want to get into politics for. I've had my own fair share of rough deals through government organisations over the years. I've had tax inspections tenfold. I've had VAT inspections, and I was told by a member of the Federation of Small Businesses there was a government directive to hit small businesses because they can't defend themselves. And they hit me. What happened? We put the wrong figure in a wrong box on a tax return. Quite simple mistake. It came back, and I've had the last 5 years of my accounts now inspected systematically, year on year, and it's about that time now. I'll be getting the letter any time now. They'll be asking for last year's accounts to make sure that I have paid enough tax. And inevitably, every year, year on year, I've not paid enough. I come from a working class background, totally. Born and bred on a council estate. Dad was self-employed, mum worked in a bingo hall. Total Labour Party family. My dad had ever been self-employed. In the Maggie years, he was a Tory. Not a member, but he always voted Tory. And I always remember him saying it still, I can hear it to this day, if Labour get in, I'll sign on. Because Maggie obviously promoted that sort of thing, and that was the Conservative Party were there for people to self-promote, get on and do things. The Labour Party, it was when they were starting to implode, in my own, and they wanted a welfare state, a total welfare state, which is more or less what we've got now. In my opinion, we've got no common sense. Politics has got absolutely no common sense whatsoever. So, when I left the Labour Party, because they no longer stood for what I stood for, what I believed, I left the Labour Party. I was non-partisan. I was all on my own. Met Bill Etheridge. Could say the rest is history. Speaking to Bill, telling about UKIP, what they do, what they stand for, yeah, all sounds really good. All sounds a bit too good to be true. So I read the policies. And I said this to Paul today, what I actually got from the policies, I strongly believe that if you take any man off the street, any average working man off the street, give him a piece of paper and a pen and sit him down, and give him a heading of tax, immigration, education, health, and ask him to write down what he thinks a policy should be. What he would like to see as those policies. On the outline, no detail, just basics. He'd write them down and cross-reference that with UKIP policy, and I would say you'd have an 80% match. Because the policies are common sense. My biggest worry looking at them, they were too good to be true. Can't work. Nothing that's that good can work. So speak to Bill, different people. Are they costed? Can this actually? Is it feasible? Can they be done? There was a grey area at the time. We've moved on a long way since then. All policies are costed now. So I know they are. I know that for a fact. We've got top economists within the party. We've got everything that a major political party needs, and everything that we put out is true, it's factual, and it can be done. So obviously I started to believe. I'm not a typical politician. I'm in the building trade. There's been a few comments tonight about the way I'm dressed because not many people see me dressed like this. It's normally working trousers and a t-shirt and covered in all sorts of stuff. So I'm not a typical politician. The typical politicians these days, they're posh schoolboy, you know, they come through, career politicians, never had a job. But there's very few of them. UKIP are different. We've got people from all across the spectrum. We've got businessmen down to, we've got people unemployed, we've got people on welfare, we've got everybody, right across the spectrum, everybody, because UKIP appeals to everybody. It really does appeal to the whole spectrum across the country. Like most people, I'm just fed up of seeing our country going downhill. It's going to the dogs. We're run by people who don't know us. People in London don't even know there's a recession on. They live in a bubble. They're trying to dictate us, rule our lives, tell us what we should be doing, and they haven't got a clue. They don't know what it's like to get to the 27th of the month and your mortgage is due in 4 days and the sweat's dropping off your brow. The money's not in the bank.
He did enough.
Yeah, he's running off. I'm not bored. They don't know, they don't understand. So how can these people represent us? I understand that politics needs to be run with education. People do need to be educated. We do need these sort of people in there, but we also need real people. You watch the House of Commons on Prime Minister's Question Time, and it's pathetic. School, I call it playground politics, because it's just ridiculous. It's just tossing and throwing things from one to the other. I believe in old-fashioned values. Instead of what this government's just recently given, they've given childcare to help to families that have got enormous incomes. Why do they need childcare help? Why not go back to old-fashioned values? Why not give help to families to have a stay-at-home parent? Yeah. Would that not benefit more people? Yeah. If two people are working and they want childcare, they're both on careers, I ain't got a problem with that. But if they're both working, I'm pretty sure there's not enough money coming in. The government should be helping people when it's a stay-at-home parent. Yeah. That gives grounding, it gives children the grounding to be brought up by their parents. It's not strangers. I'm not against childcare, not in the slightest. My grandchild's brought up by a carer. Well, brought up by a carer, but you get where I'm going. So, I'm not against it. But let's get back to family values. Yeah. Real things that affect everybody.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, sir.
Don't you think if possibly the genie might be out the bottle by now though? I'd like to think that we could turn this country round.
Yes.
But I'm fearful that the genie's out the bottle. In the way, when I say the genie, I'm talking about the way society has gone. Through the politicians that are in there now. And when we talk about the two political powers, Labour and Conservative, exactly, the two parties who have dominated this country now, long outside of my lifespan, and I'm 66, where they've run this country, and I'm fearful that the genie's out the bottle. Because I would like to see this country reverse to where it is now. And hence is why I've joined UKIP, because I think we can do it.
Yes, I believe we can, and I think they will. So there's been a massive spider running around. We're not saying that. I bet it's on film.
It's not private camera.
No, it's a spider, it's got a spider. No, I agree with you totally, and that's what we're trying to move towards. We're trying to make change. I mean, I'm just trying to go over the sort of things that came to me that made me sort of realise the UKIP stand for what I believe. Fair and even tax system. I have arguments all the time with people. Cut the bottom rate of tax for low earners. People on minimum wage shouldn't pay tax. And people who think, oh, they're working, they should pay tax, should pay them. Take them out of the tax system altogether. Right? Anybody below 13 grand, pay no tax. Because where are they going to spend their money? They're not going to buy houses abroad. They're not particularly going to be going on, you know, foreign holidays on 13 grand a year. They're going to be spending it here. And if they buy a point, they're paying tax. If they buy food, paying tax. If they put petrol in the car, they're paying tax. This will bring the economy back up because it's all about spending money within the economy. So take them out of the tax system, spend money in the economy, it works. People on top earners, they're paying 40–50% tax. Personally, I think you're punishing the successful people. Now, you've heard the story about the multimillionaire who brags that he's cleaner, pays more tax than he does. Because there's loopholes galore. There's accountants out there who are very good, they're very clever, and if you pay them enough money, they'll find ways around it. People get paid in dividends. There's multimillionaires earning minimum wage and getting paid dividends. They don't pay tax on the dividend. The company does. But is it 11%? Something like that they pay? If they're paying an equal tax with everybody else, 25%, and not 50%, which is what they've been told to do, they won't look for loopholes. They'll be quite happy to pay 25%. Which is a lot more than we're getting now because they're exercising those loopholes. There's a thing called the Laffer curve. If you look at that, I'm going to try and explain it, I'm no economist. It proves that lots of little is better than little of lots. Ronald Reagan did it in his administration in America when he took charge, and it worked. He dropped all the taxes and the tax revenue shot up. It does work, it can work. People are scared. Politicians are scared to exercise it. Like I say, every policy that UKIP have got has been costed. It can work and it will work.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What's UKIP's views on, such as me, I've worked since I've been 15.
Can we get questions at the end? Paul, better to answer questions off the floor. I mean, I'm quite happy to answer any questions at the end. If I just get through this quick, so Paul wants to get through this and get off. I know that sounds good.
Reputation,
He's on the telly in the morning, we want him to look we want a health service that's second to none. It's pretty much second to none anyway. But you read things in the paper, you hear things on the radio, speak to staff who work in the NHS, and they're not proud to work in the NHS anymore. They should be proud to work in the NHS. My son's an accountant for the NHS. They've got consultants earning, through an agency, £17,000 a month. Now, the agency gets 17,000, the consultant gets £14,000 a month. The NHS in Dudley pays £13,000 a month for that post, but none of them will take a permanent post because they're £1,000 a month worse off. It's quite simple. Shut the agencies. We don't do a deal through an agency. If you want the job, it's there. If you don't, move to another trust. It's quite simple. The NHS wastes money. Stop wasting money. Let's use the money when it should be used. Let's make the people who work in the NHS proud to work in the NHS. And you see the level of care shoot up. What's happening in South Staffs is a joke. It's ridiculous. And the bloke who's responsible, because there's always somebody at the top who's responsible, right? He's still working, and David Cameron is backing him up. Yeah. 13 people have left the NHS since this kicked off, since South Staffs, and they've all been given gagging orders.
It's immoral.
We don't need to say anymore. It's just there. I was asked by a gentleman in this room quite recently, before I was adopted as the PCC for our zone of region, if I'd written a manifesto. And the answer was quite straight, no, because it's not down to me to write a manifesto. I hope to represent the people of our zone of Red Regis. Before I say what I'm going to do for our zone of Red Regis, I need to speak to the people of our zone of Red Regis, because that's who I'm representing. Businesses, schools, charity groups, colleges, that's the sort of people I intend to, between now and 2015 and the elections, that's the sort of people I'm going to get out to, I'm going to speak to, find out what they want, what's good for them in Alzheimer, what's wrong for them in Alzheimer, what's the current MP doing, not doing. It's all about, I'm only here to represent. If I get elected in 2015, I'm only representing the people who put the cross in the box. That's what politicians forget. A lot of politicians, they get the vote, they disappear, they don't care. They might do surgeries, it doesn't matter what you say to what you do, they don't care. Our local MP was asked the way he was going to vote for the referendum vote. He didn't even attend. He didn't even attend what was the biggest vote in Parliament in my lifetime. And he sent me a copy of the transcript when I questioned the way he voted. I don't want a copy of the transcript. I want him to vote the way that he's supposed to vote because he's representing me. And everybody I spoke to wanted a referendum. He obviously didn't vote for the people who were paying his wages. And that to me is wrong. If I had to go against party line, if I was told if we were in Parliament and I was there and Nigel said, right, you're voting that way, Dean, and the people of Alzheimer around the regions would not benefit from that vote, I would not vote. And if that meant me being thrown out the party, I'd say goodbye. Because I'm not going to sell myself to the devil. I will always represent the people who vote for me. And that's the way, I know it'll never happen because that's the UKIP policy. You vote the way the people who vote you in tell you to vote. And that's just the way it should be. There's a bit of proof we're not a one-trick pony, we're not a one-policy party, but we do spend £52 million a day. I'm sure Paul's going to get onto that, so I'm not going to get too much into the immigration, so I'm pretty sure he'll cover it. I'm going to skip through most of that in there. I bored myself with these speeches. People say we can't make a difference. I talk to people in pubs all the time. Working people, sounds like I'm in the pub all the time. Working class people in the pub, and they all know about the government. And then when I ask who to vote for, I don't vote. You must vote. Don't care who you vote for. I'd like to vote for UKIP, but you must vote. It gives you the right to moan, in my eyes. You must, yeah, democratic right to moan.
People have died to get a vote.
Yeah, to get the right to vote, so yeah, you should vote. It's people say, oh, UKIP can't win, can't do this, can't do that. Hang on, we have got no MPs at the moment, not one. Right, that will change in 2015. May the 2nd, where we got the county council votes all over the country, it's going to be a massive landslide going on, and UKIP are going to win many, many, many seats.
Hopefully.
No, they will. They will. I absolutely categorically guarantee we will. With no MPs, we forced David Cameron into a complete empty speech, albeit, about a referendum. Does anybody actually believe that David Cameron would have mentioned a referendum if it wasn't for the pressure of UKIP?
He's frightened.
We've done that with no MPs. With not one. Ed Miliband has said it's not racist to talk about immigration. And did anybody see Labour's party political broadcast? I mean, who wrote it? Nigel Farage. It was brilliant. And this is with no MPs. We got Theresa May doing a speech, word for word, that Nigel said 3-4 weeks prior. You couldn't make it up. You obviously never heard the speech, did you? She actually copied his speech word for word. And this is with no MPs. With MPs, we're in there, we're at the heart of it, and as they're debating things, we can pressurise them, we can put pressure on policy. If we don't take control of government, just having MPs in there to speak up for the people of this country who need speaking up for, because the politicians are not speaking up for people in this country, not the real working class people in this country. We're in there, we can make a big, big difference. We need people to vote. We need people to get out and vote. Vote for UKIP, but even if you don't, just vote. Tell your friends, tell your family. When it comes round to polling day, get out there and vote. Just put your cross in the box. Vote with your head, vote with your horse, whatever it is, but you must vote. I believe that in 2015 we really, really can make a difference. And if you think, like this gentleman said, he thinks the genie's out of the bottle, don't think about making a change for you. Think about your kids. Think about your grandkids. Because this country's going to the dogs and it needs saving. And there's only one party who can save it. It's time for UKIP to put the great back into great room.
Yeah.
Thank you.